Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Jack Lane. Welcome back to a brand new video here at the channel. Today, we're going to be doing the review of Batman the Caped Crusader. So let's begin. So the background video that's playing is the trailer from Amazon Prime's Batman the Caped Crusader. And let me tell you this, it is one hell of a journey. This show was in development hell for a little bit, but we finally got it. And I'm going to say this now. This show is probably one of the most unique Batman shows that have been since the animated series. This show really dives into the original Batman created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, the costume design, the way the characters interact, the way that Batman is in the show, his relationship to Alfred Pennyworth. He is a butler, he isn't his father figure in this whatsoever. And he's very much this elusive figure, this mythic being as such in the very first couple of episodes. The Penguin was something that I was really kind of not on board with. However, I'm not going to judge the series on its, what I'd say is real only flaw, because the rest of it is really fun. The episode with Batman and Catwoman is fantastic. Harvey Dent turning Harley Quinzel into the Jester. There's just so much to love here, and I had a blast with it. The thing with this show, I will say, is that it it's done something that is really unique in the storytelling. It's individual episodes, but it wants you to continue watching. The animation style is fantastic. I love every second of it. The dynamic between Bruce Wayne and Batman sort of gets lost in that moment. And I guess people were a bit like, this is interesting to see. So, what do I think? What do I think about the whole show as show in a whole? I have to say, I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of what they've done. And the reason for that, I think, is because it's such a unique take on the Dark Knight that you cannot not love it. It's one of them things where you see it first and you think, okay, this is quite fun and enjoyable. And as the show goes on and progresses, you find out a little bit more about the characters and the world that we are in. The corruption behind the GCPD is there from the get go. And as a Batman fan who loves origin stories done in the right way, I'm a massive fan of Gotham, one of the best TV shows that I think has ever been made for like a Batman prequel. Batman '89, Batman Begins, like the corruption is all there, and then you have certain characters like your Jim Gordon, your Harvey Dent that are trying to fix it. The show steps away from one of Batman's biggest villains in this, mind you. And I'll tell you why, and this is a massive spoiler for the final episode of the season, so click off. But Harvey Dent, it's a two-part finale. Honestly, it is. It doesn't need to be watched as a two-part final, but it is a two-part finale. The very first episode sort of... Actually, I guess it's three parts, because you find out how he becomes Two-Face at the end of episode 8. 9 is him being Two-Face, him progressing into Two-Face, like how he got the disfigured face, how he progresses into it, with the latter half of that episode being him just Two-Face gunning people down. And I loved this. But the show does it even better than I think any comic book has before, because Harvey Dent isn't a bad person. He's not. He's someone who's gone through a tragic event. He's someone who's now confused, has mental health issues, clearly, that are quite vivid, and the show really takes from that and develops it further. It actually goes to show at the end of the last episode where he sacrifices himself to save Barbara Gordon. That is... It just shows that Harvey Dent, although he seemed to be lost, he actually isn't. One of my other biggest things, and one of my most favourite things about the show, is that the Batman dynamic. You know, in the show, he doesn't kill, which was, I think, someone's worry. People did have worries about that, I believe, because in the comics, the version of Batman that they're telling at the moment, he did kill. He would pick up a gun and he would kill people. This Batman doesn't. However, at the end of the episode, same time Harvey dies, something snaps in Batman and he does pick up a gun and fires it multiple times. He doesn't kill anyone, but it's just an interesting thing that, you know, people need to look into. As a character study of this Batman is young. He's broken, he's vengeful. He's on a mission. But his code doesn't seem to be as strict as it is later on in the mission. The show does an amazing job, I would say, setting up season 2. And it does this by almost affirming who the next villain's going to be. So people have been wondering, season 2, it's already been picked up for season 2. It's picked up for a 2-season order when they first went for it. But season 2, I don't know when it's going to come out. I wish it would come out this year, to be honest. We only had 10 episodes, which I think is too less. We need like 22 to 46 episodes a season. Like, can they just do that? Can we get away from this streaming Mongol of 10 to 8 episodes a season? Can we go back to the cable television? The one thing I will say is that I thought this released at midnight, but it released at 8 a.m. In 8 a.m. in the morning here in Britain. Now, one of my biggest things that I said in a previous video was, come midnight, I'd review each individual episode. The reason I'm not doing that is because by the time it released, by the time I watched all of it and, you know, sorted other things out, did some other videos, I just thought it would make sense just to do a seasonal video, season review. And I tell you what, besides from the Penguin episode, which was a great episode, but of course would be controversial in a very big way because of the way that they took Oswald Cobblepot, did the gender swap, and people didn't like it. I wasn't really a big fan of what was happening. However, the show makes up for it with villains beyond that. You've got Clayface, you've got Two-Face, Catwoman, Firefly. It's got a lot of heart, and it's, you know, it's a fantastic show. I cannot stress that enough. And the fact that they tease the next villain being the Joker at the end of it just sort of says a lot to me. It says that they are planning for a future that is going to be ripe with the Dark Knight going forward. It wouldn't surprise me if the show ended up going for 4 to 5 seasons. This show, I think, deserves to do longer than the Batman, which did five seasons. And honestly, I think, you know, this show could. It has a lot of merit to it. It's original. That's one of the biggest things to take away from this. It's original in how it does things. Harley Quinzel is not Harley Quinn. She's called the Jester. She's not met the Joker as of this point. The Joker, of course, is coming in season 2 from the ending of season 1, the little tease they gave at the end. But I'll tell you what, the villains they picked for this, so well done. The intro, perfectly done. The dynamic between Barbara and Gordon, of course, Gordon being the police commissioner, and Barbara Gordon actually being a defense attorney in this, which was a strange dynamic to get my head around, but it works. It works here, and it's very much I appreciate it. I appreciate that storytelling. It adds another layer of dynamic to the character. Whether this Barbara Gordon will ever become Batgirl in the show, I don't know. I think what you'll see is 2 to 3 seasons of Batman by himself, and then if it goes on longer, we'll see the inclusion of the Bat family. Lucius Fox, another character that was in this. I always love a bit of Lucius Fox in anything, so having him here was, you know, another big warm welcome for me, a die-hard Batman fan. The fact that Bruce called Pennyworth the entire time was nice, and of course that ended in the last episode where he turned around and went, Alfred, and it the show just had this humble feeling about it. It just had this really nice feeling. I'm gonna definitely be rewatching it again now that I finished all 10 episodes. I'm gonna be rewatching it again from the beginning. Um, I think the weakest episode is the Penguin episode, just because and it's not even the whole gender swap thing. It's just I think it was a bad move personally, and so do a lot of people. But if that's the weakest episode that I can find here so far, just on one watch through of it, then that's perfectly fine, because that episode was solid. If I was doing individual episodic reviews, they probably would be like 8s to 9s for some of them, and I think the lowest probably gives like a 7.5 for some. But to be honest, it sets up the Gotham Underworld quite nicely. Rupert Thorne's in it. Rupert Thorne is a villain that I loved from the animated series, so they've got Rupert Thorne there. Carmine Falcone is nowhere to be seen at the moment, but I'm assuming he's going to play a part in this soon. It was nice that we got some Bruce Wayne scenes. Like, that was very nice. The whole Catwoman dynamic. The fact that they went to classic suits, classic costumes for these villains was so nice. They did classic costume for Catwoman and Batman. Clayface was, that was a very surprising episode for me, because I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't want anything spoiled. And it was very nicely surprised for me when I saw that Carl Basil was in it. I was like, oh my god. And then then there's a whole mystery around that episode that makes people second guess everything. And that episode was done perfectly. So I think the weakest episode, which was a fantastic episode, was the very first one. And then it built from there onwards. Because I think the first one was always going to be weak, because we're into this new world and you got to feel out the characters. But by episode 2, you already loved the Batman that we got. The actor who plays Batman in Batman the Caped Crusader, who, let me guess, Hamish Linklater, he can stay. He can stay on as Batman for the next 15 years. I think we found not a Kevin Conroy, not like another Conroy. Kevin Conroy is and always will be Batman for me and so many others. But I think we found the new generation's Kevin Conroy. And hopefully with the Joker's inclusion, we'd have found the new Joker with this. I wouldn't mind it if this actor was to go ahead and star in Batman Arkham games, if they ever rebooted it, and other things. But this show, there's just something special about it, honestly. And I loved every second of it, so I'm not going to complain or moan about it. It was one of them shows that you watch and you think this show is something special. They've made something special. Bruce Timm, of course, back from the animated series. J.J. Abrams. One of the first things that I've watched from J.J. Abrams in a long time that I haven't thought, wow, you really messed this up. For instance, Lost, I thought he messed that up as a show. In all fairness, he didn't mess Star Wars up. He saved Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, so gotta give him props on that one as well. But J.J. Abrams is one of them producers and, directors and writers, in my opinion, that if he's attached to a project, it can either go one way or the other. And luckily, it's gone the other way, where it's really good, stellar, and I'm just happy about it. Matt Reeves, of course, doing a fantastic job with the Batman. I was kind of halfway through watching this. I actually thought if they'd have not done the gender swap for the Penguin, right, they could have quite easily have fitted this into the Batman crime saga narrative. They could have, because the story felt very much like that, and it was very great. I'm intrigued to see what happens to detectives Harvey Bullock and Flash, because them characters, they got caught being dodgy. So, be interesting to see how that goes next. But that's basically all I have to say about this show. I'm just going to give my rating here. I'd say a solid 9.5 out of 10. I would have gone 10 out of 10 if it... I may change my mind when rewatching episode 1, but I feel like episode 1 was just the feeler of what's to come. And that show, that episode alone, fantastic episode. but there was just something that just fell flat for me. Maybe it was the gender swap. Maybe it was something else. I honestly don't know, but 9.5 I'd say is pretty good, considering it's it's so original. It is so original in its take. It's not trying to mimic the animated series. It's not trying to mimic any other animated Batman show that came before it. It is its own thing, and it's very much welcome to stay here. Um, and I'm just excited for season 2, man. Come on, Amazon, bring it out now. I'm so excited for it. So yeah, like, if you guys have seen this, and I want to hear your thoughts, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you guys aren't really interested in it, you're like, oh, well, no, the Penguin, just watch that episode, get through that 20 minutes, and you will have a blast with the rest of it. And you may even have a blast like I did with that episode. That Penguin episode I watched, to be honest, I think I'm judging it a little bit too harshly because of the gender swap, if I'm being totally honest. And I think that's just because we've got Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and it just, to me, just made more sense just to do that story with a male Penguin and, you know, continue on what's been going for 80 years. But that's me being a diehard Batman fan. I don't mind change when it, you know, when it's needed. And I do think, you know, it worked in some cases, but didn't work in others. But to be honest, besides from the gender swap, it's still Oswald Cobblepot. Besides from the name and the way the character looks a little bit, it's still Oswald. So I'm not really going to moan about it too much. So it's not like they've drastically changed the character design of the Penguin. They've just done a different idea. And who knows, maybe Oswald Cobblepot will appear, because it's not specifically saying that Oswald doesn't exist. It's just saying, because this Penguin has kids. Who's the father? There's something to think about. So maybe I'm judging it too harshly, but maybe they haven't replaced the Penguin. Maybe he just got married at this version. Who knows? So, with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Please leave me a like if you did enjoy today's video. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, because I see a lot of people viewing the channel, watching the videos, enjoying them, but just not hitting that subscribe button, which I think is crazy, because we've got some really cool videos coming out on the channel. Starting today, actually, is the start of my brand new series called Doom Theory, which we're going to have one episode out a week. I'm very excited for that to launch, and I'm excited to see what people react to it, how they react to it. So, yeah, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to build a community here where we can talk about movies and TV shows. This, of course, is my second review here on the channel. Check out my first review, which you can find over there, I think, actually. I think it's there. And, yeah, I mean, I'm so looking forward to this. So, really, really excited. And, you know, check out some of my other videos, too. They'll be either down there or there. I don't know where this placements will be. But, yeah, check them out. And also, yeah, just let me know what you think of it, man. I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to go rewatch this thing. This thing was great. And I can't wait to see season 2. And I'll be here covering information on season 2 from this moment forward. So don't you worry about that. So excited. And I'll see you on the next one. As always, stay cinematic.